You know, plugs are one of the easiest lures there are to fish with. I call them crankbaits, mainly because you merely cast them out once you figure out the retrieve speed that's needed to catch bass and reel them back in. All lures are designed for certain types of bass fishing. Early in the year, when the water first starts warming up, I like to use a mid-depth running lure because fish tend to come up out of the cover they're in and they move up into that sunshine because the water's warming up and it's springtime and they come up there to just feel the rays and warm up for a spell. In lures that produce well during this part of the year, color is the key to catching fish. You want to choose a lure that you feel like the fish are feeding on at that time. Normally, your early spring lure is a crawfish color lure, brown with an orange belly. This lure will run about 5 to 6 foot deep on 10-pound test line, and when the fish come up out of 7, 8, 10 foot of water to move up into the spawning grounds, this is a lure that will produce well for you. When the water temperature is in the mid-50s to low 60s, a lot of times it'll take a crank and stop retrieve to produce strikes. Reel it down, keep it moving, pause. A lot of times that's when your strike will occur. As the water warms up and you get up into the 60s and low 70s, then a fast retrieve will usually produce best. Another lure that's becoming very popular is the real deep divers. This lure will get down 10 to 12 feet on 10-pound test line. You can go to even a larger lure and get down 12 to 15 feet deep on light line. These lures will actually get down and take bass out of holes that you would normally have to fish with a worm or a jig. They're very productive in lakes that have current or situations where they turn the locks on and generate power and it pulls current across these ridges, and you can back off in 25 foot of water and cast up into 8 or 10 and crank these lures down and still take big bass even when they won't hit plastic worms. One of the most important things is the ability to cover a lot of water with crankbaits. They enable you to look for fish. You might not be catching fish on other lures that you think are producing well, and it may be that you're just not fishing in the right spot. You can tie on a crankbait and get the lure that runs the depth that you feel like the fish are, and turn your trolling motor on and cover a lot of water. Sometimes this will just show you where they are. Crankbait will help you look for bass. No matter what size lure you're using, the determining factor on the speed of the retrieve is the water temperature. If the water's real cold, use a slow retrieve. As the water warms up, then go to a medium retrieve. As it gets real hot, sometimes it'll take a fast retrieve to provoke a strike. When you cast upon the structure that you intend to fish, normally a fairly slow retrieve will get that lure down to maximum depth first. Once you get it down and get it to hitting bottom, and you feel it bounce off structure, pause. Bounces off, pause. As long as it's digging and coming to the boat, continue the retrieve on through, and then wind it on in and make you another cast. I'm a bass fisherman because I love the outdoors. And a bass is a fish that you have to outsmart and you have to think to catch every day. You got to examine all the varying conditions and start over new because they are subject to change on you every day.